But you know what? The one that does all the gymnastics and all that, I noticed too with kids, they express happiness in different ways. My oldest one, the only time I know she's truly happy, and she's 17 now, is when she's bouncing, singing, doing a cartwheel outside. She's got an instrument. When she's silent, I go, oh man, something's up. This kid's been silent for 2
her
months.
dad's so expressive, you know. Also, I mean, you think about it, like who's like more expressive than you? Like you're this like joyful guy who's always got this crazy laugh, and you know, by now at 14, she's super aware that you play these places all over the world. People come to see you and laugh. I mean, that's got to be bizarre too. What is it? You know, what's your dad do for a living? Oh, I fix his pipes. What about your dad? Just talk shit in front of people and they laugh their dick off. You know, it's a very bizarre thing for a kid to go, whoa, 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 you could do that too.
Right.
You know, and they see that.
Yeah.
And then, you know, and also, I'm sure you're not restrictive in how they express themselves. You probably want them to have fun, and do cartwheels and laugh and joke around a lot. Yeah, I mean, so that gets encouraged. And then I think happiness, like self-reflection and all these other things, these are muscles, and you can work on those muscles. You know, you can develop them.
I think you're absolutely right about that. The image that I've been using is like of circuits, like that if you like how it must be neurologically. Of course, I'm speculating about neurology, which is probably not something that someone who knows nothing about neurology should do.
Lucky like, none of us do either, so we'll just follow you on this.
We're in. You know, if you're continually activating certain neurological pathways or creating synaptic relationships, then that's going to fire up more regularly. I mean, I notice it with some of these new things I'm doing. Like initially, when people were explaining stuff about getting out of half guard and how even to shuffle on the floor, you know, that shrimping stuff, I was like, I ain't ever going to be able to do this. But soon it sort of it seems like it's making its way behaviourally into a different aspect of my consciousness. And I suppose if there's you know, when you talk about happiness or misery or addiction, if you're continually living in that circuit, like you know, people talk about programming. I feel like that when I'm aware of my programming, is there's certain things that if people say them to me, I can't help the reaction I have. Like, you know, obvious ones are certain. If I'm exposed to certain sexual images, bang, 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 I feel all those feelings before I make any decisions. If someone makes me feel insecure or says something, I have to really watch that moment before, because otherwise, before I know it, I've gone down a path of behaviour. And I think that perhaps what we can do on an individual level is learn, and this is hard for people that are living in total fucking crisis and dreadful poverty, and like you said before, where I personally am in a privileged position where I can begin to bring my consciousness to those kind of things of right, I want to live on that circuit now. I don't want to always have negative judgments. I don't always want to feel fearful in these moments. I want to learn to plough that neurological pathway so that it's easier for me to stay there. That, you know, programming is necessary, and if you're not living on a program that you've taken control of individually, you're living on someone else's program. You're living on that program that's out there, that constant bombardment of negativity and fear and anxiety and division, and you're different from people, and you're not good enough, and by this, otherwise you're not going to be good enough. You know, that you're going to need pretty strong defenses, I think, to, you know, and that's why with the diminished role of religion in our life, with the diminished role of sort of political ideologies that we can trust, what are people supposed to do about being alive and not feeling good? Who do you go to now?
I think you're doing it. I think you're a part of it. And I think there's a lot of other people that are doing it too. It's like you're trying to re-examine the patterns that you're stuck in, and how many of these patterns that you or I or Jim or anybody here has created for themselves. Yes. You've created a lot of your own prison bars, and that's a really common thing with people. You know, the whatever defenses that you've put up, whatever patterns that you've instinctively followed because of jealousy or fear or inadequacy or any weird feelings, you've set these neurological patterns, and they're very difficult to break once you've set them yourself. It's almost like you've built your own prison, and now you're complaining about it.
Yes, I agree.